Hello and a very warm welcome back to the Andrew Eborn Show. It's lovely to see you on this glorious morning when we have the return of my old chum and schoolmate, James Pratt. How are you, James?
Hello, Andrew. Not too bad, thank you. And how are you?
I am in there and thereabouts, enjoying life, I have to say. It has been a really, really exciting time with some fantastic guests. And what I love about you, James, is that you are brilliant at commenting on the various guests that we've had on. Who've been your favourite so far?
It's difficult to know. I'm not a big Bee Gees fan. I think perhaps I can relate to some of your older ladies who have come on, but no, I don't necessarily have a favourite. I mean, the whole art of journalism is that you remain, if not neutral, then you pretend to be neutral. You're probably not, because your editor knocks on the door and says, "Excuse me, you've done that wrong. We can't have that again." But for all of that, I've enjoyed them all. I think the best person on it, really, Andrew, is you.
Oh, well, you have to say that, and you're very good. The check.
Yeah, I thought I did.
If they wrote checks anymore, which they don't, which is all good. So it's always a thrill. Talking about things and lost art and stuff like that, we were talking previously about postcards, and that section of the feature has been really popular. Everybody digging out their old drawers with postcards and things. And I know you've got a few more to share with us today. Talk me through those.
Thank you very much. I'm pleased to do so. Now, what have we got here?
Ah, we love that. The 38th London Film Festival, if I remember well. And I reckon that was probably in November 1994. Is that about right?
You know more than me. One moment, please. Yes. Well, consider it's written on there, for God's sake.
No, but I read it quicker than you did, and you own the wretched thing. So that's got to be good.
I have a large... hang on. I have a large collection here, so I beg forgiveness. Now, who is this elderly gentleman?
Oh, let's have a look. Here we go. Oh, he's rather fine, isn't he? Wonderful. Talk me through him. He looks like a bit like Boswell, but go and talk me through.
Well, he's nearly Boswell. This is Boswell's prey. This is, in fact, the Samuel Johnson.
Ah, there you go. Fantastic. Well, it was that time, wasn't it, where you had that anonymity, and we spoke about that. The reason that they all wore the wigs, apart from for social niceties, in court we used to have it for anonymity, apart from the respect that you have for the judiciary.
I would question that. I don't think it's you wish to be anonymous. I wish to be standard, I think, and also stand apart, perhaps, from the lay who would be there hanging, Andrew, on your every word and pronouncement.
Well, I understand that, but actually within the court system, absolutely, it's like most uniforms was to make you anonymous. And so people should basically be hearing everybody. Justice is supposed to be blind. And so when you're wearing those glorious wigs, and it all started, it sort of basically followed fashion, if you like, where people...
They did? Oh, yes. Yes. Yes, I
used to work on that sort of principle. People used to lose their hair, which was never a good thing. And what happened then is that because it used to be a sign of syphilis and other social diseases. And so people used to hide it originally by these wonderful creations, which got larger and larger and larger. And the more important you were, the more likely it was that this is where you got the expression of a big wig.
A big wig, yes. I was with that. Well, big wigs, it's something to bear in mind. Here's another postcard.
Let's have a look. Who have we got here?
Really random. This is just for fun. Now, this is some people playing Sudoku. Yes. I can't pronounce it. Maybe you can.
Well, no, Sudoku. It is Sudoku, and you have to work out those numbers from 9. It's rather good.
I have to. Have you ever played that game?
I have. No, I love number games, and we have in magic terms, we have a magic square where somebody can give you a number, and we could instantly write up lots of different numbers, and they all add up in the corners. They multiply in the middle, and they go down this line, and it all adds up to the randomly selected number.
Well, you see that's life, Andrew. You sow what you reap, and you reap what you sow. And you start with nothing and you end up with nothing. This is a lovely card. I can't help but show you this. I'll explain why in a minute.
Oh, I do like that. Now that looks like it's been made out of somebody's little hat.
Yeah, that's right. I'm not entirely convinced. It says on the back, male novelty. It's obviously quite old. It could be as much as 100 years old. and the young lady, and it is a young lady, millinery masterpieces, it says. There's a dog looking on appreciatively. There we are. I don't know if you can quite get that in.
I can see the dog. I like the dog.
Yeah, looking on appreciatively. And the lady herself appears to have an embellishment with some flowers and a large bonnet, which is the actual material itself. So it stands proud from the card. Far too good to send through the post to get read, as you yourself were pointing out to us recently, the interpretation of that which could be read, and we assume that all of us would.
Oh, no, but that's absolutely right. Just to remind people that there's a legal assumption,
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. I didn't get it.
Yeah, it's a legal assumption that post people, not postmen anymore, because you have women and others, post people, there's a legal assumption that they read those postcards, and that's important for defamation action. So,
well, next time I'm going to write sort of, dear GPO, having a great time. Hope you're all well. Goodbye.
Yeah, well, there you go. Very good.
Why not? Why not? One more card just to bore you even more. And
this won't bore me. What's this one?
Ooh.
Talk me through it. What is it?
Well, it's a collection of heads, possibly of state. I think I can see various. I can see probably the Tsar and George V.
Well, hold up, George V. Talk me about him.
It says glory. Well, I don't know. It's got a beautiful passed by censor, and it was sent in 1915.
Oh, that's rather fun. So hold it up. Let's have a look.
It really is special. So it was obviously sent in the middle of at the start of the First World War.
Yes, glory to the Allies, indeed.
When Russia probably was, and it says, "My darling wife, just a line. Hoping you are quite well. Hope you will like this pic." Well, PC, yes. Have not heard from you yet, from home yet. And when he meant home, I'm sure he meant the English, the British Isles. Love to the chicks and to yourself. Your loving hubby. And he's put in about 8 kisses. They really didn't mess about in those days. And obviously kisses weren't rationed, though food was at the time.
No, very good. But what's wonderful about that is that sort of era when you were allowed to get postcards from home and so on and so forth. I interviewed a wonderful chap who you probably saw, called Fergus Ancorn. And I don't know, you probably don't watch something called Britain's Got Talent, but a few years ago...
I know what it is. On occasion, I would watch it.
Dipped in. Well, a few years ago, the very first magician to win it was a guy called Richard Jones. And he was in the military himself, still is in the military. But part of his routine was talking about our debt of gratitude that we owe to the generation that went before us. And the fabulous Fergus Ancorn, who's also a member of the Magic Circle, but also was on Burma. He was a prisoner of war. He went through some terrible things. And I interviewed him. And he used to write little messages home. But within those messages were secret messages. When you talk about being passed by the censor, that's because there were certain things to make sure they weren't giving special secret messages or information which might be of benefit to the enemy. So what Fergus did, he did a wonderful shorthand, I think it was Pitman shorthand, and just to prove, because his family didn't know his whereabouts, just to prove that it was him and he was alive, he put in this coded message in Pitman shorthand, which basically said, Fergus he wrote, but it basically said, keep smiling. And the reason that was relevant is that his family knew him as Smiler, and therefore they knew that that message actually came from him. And having been informed that he died, it lifted their soul. They woke up in the middle of the night and recognized this secret message. And that's why that's important.
I dreamt I dwelt in marble halls and woke to find it true.
Absolutely. Well, that'll teach you a good night out. It's always lots of fun. So we love it. We love it. So what else have you got for that? I love these postcards.
Thank you. Yes, they do trigger things, don't they? I've got one here I bought in France, and you'll know in an instant who the artist is.
Ah, Mr. Picasso. I love it. Fantastic.
Yes. I mean, let's get down to cases. Pablo Picasso, we knew that. Marie-Thérèse, 1937. Picasso was to live a long and hugely productive particularly in the financial sense, life. And this is currently housed in Amsterdam, a great art centre, I'm sure.
Stunning, stunning.
There we are. It's a lady who appears to, yes, come at the situation from all angles.
And that was, of course, Picasso's thing. That we had a great joy. I can tell you, although it's only an etching, that we own a Picasso that used to belong to somebody rather famous, on which I'll tell you about another day.
Well, I look forward to it.
Picasso.
Now, I look forward to it, but be careful. Don't just bring it in and then wonder why you've just been robbed, Andrew. 5 minutes later. Now, here's a
security here at Buckingham Palace, which is where I'm based, in the little side wing. Is pretty.
I realise you've got every security. Now, here's something.
Oh, look at that!
Now, you might say this is very low key. It is, in fact. Is it tomatoes?
Oh, I don't know. Hold it up. It looks like a palm of something. I would have thought. I would have thought it could be tomatoes, but it looks sort of apple-like. I reckon the leaves are tomato-like.
Right. They don't seem. It doesn't seem sufficiently red, but of course you can get them different colours. It doesn't mean to say they aren't
tomatoes. Absolutely. Does it not say on the back?
No. Annoyingly, it doesn't. It says postcard, and then it says postcard in about 8 languages, which is fair enough.
In case you didn't know what it is.
It printed in Saxony, which helps us not at all. I suspect in order to do it cheaply, they had a stamp, or that once they sent up their printing press, it was every. Oh, hang on, there's something here. Night series. It doesn't mean anything to me. Anyway, I rather liked it.
I like it a lot. But I mean, you can always tell by the leaves, and there are many variety of tomatoes, and tomatoes are a wonderful fruit.
Well, yes, you're looking at me as hoping against hope that I will say, no, it's a vegetable. And you'll say, no, it isn't. It's a fruit.
It is a fruit.
Here goes. I'm going to say it. I thought it was a vegetable.
You didn't. You knew it was a fruit. I know you know it was a fruit.
Well, it's just the sort of thing. It's just the sort.
What I love about that card as well, though, James, is the fact they've had to put on the word postcard in many different languages. Because by the time you've got the thing, I think you probably know what it is, don't you?
I think you might, but you might think it was something special, like a Christmas card, or there used to be certain regulations, I can go into this at the future time, whereby the number of words you could put on it, otherwise it would exceed the postal quota.
Oh yes, look, in case the post people who've been reading your postcards, in case they don't know what it is. Well,
yeah, no, actually that wasn't that, I didn't mean that at all, you're great. Very good, very good. You completely put me off my stroke. Anyway, look, I shall show you. This will overload you, but it's pretty damn good. I have got these. Now, this isn't a postcard. This is a collection of stamps. It is, in fact, called C tenant, which is when different stamps are joined together, and it is various members of the theatrical profession.
Comedians in particular, by the look of it.
Sorry?
Comedians in particular.
Yes, that's probably why I liked it. Buster Keaton, Theda Bara, I haven't heard of her. The Keystone Cops, of course. Harold Lloyd.
I wouldn't be surprised, James, if they were all connected to a particular film studio. I reckon you can get things like Ealing Comedy and stuff like that, and maybe if there's a particular place that they would have filmed, that would have been wonderful. But all of those are comedians from a particular film stars of a particular generation. The Keystone Cops and Buster Keaton and Harold Lloyd. I mean, fantastic. Oh, look, there we go.
Here we have that well-known double act, Morecambe and Wise.
Yeah. I thought that was Dawn French and Jennifer Saunders.
Jennifer Saunders. Actually, probably given their ability to change skins, they could probably come back.
They are phenomenally talented. I love both of them madly. There's wonderful stuff. But Lauren Hardy, did you see that movie?
Yes, I did, with Steve Coogan.
Yeah, what did you think?
I thought it was great. I thought they could have over-egged the pudding. They could have made it cheesy. They did not. They played it, they themselves were assumed the mantle, the top hat, the hat and the girth and the poignancy of it. But what they didn't do was make it sort of try and make it something that it wasn't. Because for the it was towards the end of the career of Laurel and Hardy when they came over to England and indeed Ireland as well, and it showed just how difficult life was for them and how in a way ambiguous that they were big, except at the moment not quite so big.
No, absolutely. But what I also love when you look at that fantastic movie, and it is a fantastic movie, is that
yes,
when
it's
you
good.
put it
Yeah, I recommend it.
side by side with the original, they recreate a scene from one of the wonderful movies of Laurel and Hardy. And it's side by side, step by step, camera angle by camera angle. It is identical. The work that went into that is superb, but it shines a spotlight on the wonderful relationship, and actually quite troubled relationship sometimes, that the two had.
I know that when Oliver Hardy died, Stan Laurel didn't cope with it at all. He even went on writing, I think they put this up in the film, went on writing sketches for them. He simply couldn't expel the pain enough. He couldn't accept it. I mean, I suppose that's what I'm saying. He couldn't accept
it. Well, the great double acts, it really is. It defines them. It's rather like when bands split up. You know, a lot of the people, they would enjoy success together. You know, the sum of the parts is greater than the individual whatnots of the whole.
Synergy, yes. Yeah, no, I agree with you. It may also be that they have the youthful exuberance, and after a while, I mean, with the Beatles or something. I mean, I came into just being aware of the Beatles probably at the point where they were splitting up or gone, and you know, you sort of desperately hang on to these little threads. And if they did so much as, well, the most famous thing they probably could do is be arrested, you know, and you see, it's true, for drugs. And I mean, what a surprise. Oh, hello, the Beatles. Oh, have you been taking drugs? Gosh, we're surprised. Here's a £10 fine. Don't do it again.
I guess it's rather similar to writing postcard on a postcard. I guess you can do that in many different languages.
I used to have a book. I gave it to a friend of mine. She's disabled, so she needed cheering up of Beatles postcards. I did have that.
Well, that would be amazing. Well, what a pity you gave it away.
I didn't throw it away. I mean, I gave it to her for her birthday. But it was it was very worthwhile. They did have amazing talents in other directions.
Oh, and that's what I loved. Absolutely. And you'll see many musicians have extra talents. Many people, Ronnie Wood, for example, is not only a brilliant member of the Rolling Stones, but also he's a fantastically talented artist. And I had the joy of being invited down in Cannes, and there was only a group of about 20 of us to a private gallery. And in that private, they said, oh, come along. There's a celebrity bit of art. I thought, okay, well, it's fun, Cannes night. And it happened to be Ronnie Wood. And he was there, and we had a fantastic time. It's all out there in the press. You'll see the photos. But he does amazing pictures, which he does of the band and other people. And the likeness is superb. And he's such a nice guy. And afterwards, our little group of people, we went and had dinner together in Cannes and spoke not about the music, not about the